the beautiful Windsor. Brad Hood, thank you for doing this, sir.
I appreciate you guys coming out.
And you're the past president of the Nova Scotia Antique Engine and Tractor Association. How many members do you have?
We're running around 40, somewhere around there.
How many young people are in the club?
We're kind of lucky that we are getting, well,
it's a relative term,
everybody's
right?
younger than me.
That's a good way to put it.
But no, there is some interest. We've got one of a real good member is just in his late teens.
Okay.
That's really helping out, and yeah.
So is this a passion that you have as a kid and it keeps on going till you, as long as you keep going?
There's stories about pretty near every member why they're doing this, and pretty near all of it goes back to childhood memories.
And is that your story?
Yep, exactly.
This is a 1935 McCormick Deering Model 1020?
Yes.
Okay. What do you know about this tractor except about everything? You tore this apart and you rebuilt it.
I know what it looks like inside.
Where did this come from?
This I bought it right here on the grounds because it was left to a member, or left to a son who became a member because he wanted to do something with his father's tractor.
Right.
And it just got to the point in his life that it wasn't going to be done, and after about 5 or 6 years of begging, he sold it to me.
Now, we're in agriculture country. There are, even on my drive over, I saw tractors in yards, and I saw some of them that look like they might not go anywhere. What was this one like when you took control and ownership of it?
It was good because it was complete. Everything was here.
Right.
It didn't look like this.
No.
It was here. It had engine problem, which I eventually found.
What is involved with trying to restore technology that's almost 95 years old?
I'm no mechanic.
No.
But these are pretty simple. There's no electronics. I mean, there's no electric start. It's crank start only. No charging system. They're pretty simple.
Was it easy to research? Did you find manuals? Did you find documentation?
I have the original manuals, the operator's manual, the parts manual, the service manual. All the original 1935 manuals came with the tractor.
We didn't talk about what the 1020 is. The 1020 is the horsepower of this vehicle.
The 1020 is 10 horsepower on the drawbar and 20 horsepower on the belt pulley, because you're taking power direct there.
Right.
When you're looking drawbar horsepower, you're using up a lot of your horsepower to actually move the tractor. So,
okay.
But when it's sitting still running this, but that's not many horsepower for.
Not these days,
no.
Not compared to what the modern tractors are.
And the modern tractors are rated on engine horsepower, but
right.
This was drawbar and
actual horsepower.
But for the size of the machine, still not much horsepower.
Do you ever think about maybe you were born in the wrong time? Some people feel that, the technology of the day back when, maybe...
Well, I'd be no good with the new tractors because the service people they send out now, they get out with their laptop and go plug it into the tractor to find out what's wrong with it. It was my first one I ever restored, so I didn't know much about them, so, good luck.
Oh, that's one way to put it. All right.
The funny thing about this little thing is that third gear for a little tractor is pretty fast.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
It says right on it, don't make short turns at high speeds, so a little bit of a warning there.
I never knew that. Panic button, that turns your ignition on.
That shuts it off?
That shuts it off. Your throttle, and where it's 1950. One. I have a few, it's hard to keep track, but if you stall it, there's your crank. You have to, if the battery goes dead, there's
the emergency starter.
Yeah.
Is it a low and high range, or is it a...
No, just strictly...
H pattern?
Yep, written there.
Oh, look. 1, 2, 3, and reverse. And so what's involved with starting this, Brad? How do we get her going?
Well, first thing, it's just like an old Model T car. You got to turn the spark up.
Okay.
And you want to make sure you don't turn it up too far, because when you go to crank it, if you got too much spark, it'll kick back
Yep.
and break your arm.
That's not fun.
It's very common. There's a lot of people get that happen.
Right.
I've been lucky so far. And turn your fuel on. Turn your fuel on. It's on there.
Okay.
And you walk over here, say a little prayer, and when you crank these things, you never, ever put your thumb over there.
You have to tuck it in.
Always keep it in back. So
Right.
if it does kick back, there's a chance that it'll take your, breaking your thumb or your wrist. So you keep that, so if it kicks, maybe you got a better chance of no damage.
Oh, she coughed. He choked. Oh, so close. So you're gonna run around this back to do what?
Get the spark
Change
advanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easier. Hardly hear it. That's throttle.
No, that's
That's the
hydraulic.
spark?
That's your throttle there.
So set it and forget it.
Keep an eye on it, because it will come back on
Sometimes
you.
come back.
There's not too many nuts and bolts in holding this thing together that I haven't touched.
Right.
You know, inside or
Did you match the color to the original?
there's no original.
So you just had to kind of guess.
I took everything, and anything where there was something like inside the toolbox here where it had the original,
Right.
paint, and because
it wouldn't have faded inside the
Well,
box.
see, the farmer had looked after it too.
Yeah.
He had put paint back on it, so it wasn't all the same color green.
Right.
But there was enough spots that he couldn't get this nasty little paintbrush. So-
He used a brush, did he?
Oh yeah,
Looks like you used a sprayer.
yeah. That's your that's one of your biggest enemies when you're restoring a tractor. When you got to really like that tractor if somebody's painted it with a paintbrush, because there's paint everywhere where it shouldn't be. He wasn't going to a show with it.
Right.
And we call it, look at that, haywire or something. He said, yeah, it's been farmerized.
Farmerized, yes.
Yeah.
A little bit of baler twine.
Yeah, anything to keep them going.
Yeah.
It's amazing the stuff you find when you start tearing one of these apart.
So do you know what this tractor was used for when it was first purchased?
It was bought by a turkey farmer in Middleton, and he did, whatever needed to be done around the farm. He ran the saw with the belt pulley, doing his firewood, and every winter it went to the woods and hauled wood out of the woods. And the neat little story on that from his son was when Dad got home from the woods, there was I removed it, but there was a tap that you'd see on the outside of a house to drain the radiator every night. And you take the water inside by the furnace. It wouldn't be hot because, putting it in the tractor the next morning, but he brought the warm water in and poured it in. Somehow got the thing started, and it never stopped again. He ran it all day until he came home that night and went through the same thing to drain the water out of it, because
That's pretty reliable technology.
Yep.
And ingenuity to think it
and to
through.
know that this tractor would start, what time, 7 or 8 o'clock or earlier in the morning until supper time, and just sat there and putted away.
This is powered by, it's a gasoline engine, but it also would run on kerosene?
It is what they call a kerosene tractor.
Okay.
This large this is where they would put the kerosene, because of course kerosene was much cheaper than gasoline. This little tank, and even you can still you can buy the decals, to put it back to original, and that was the gas tank. You would start it on gas, but it was too expensive to run all day, so. If we go with the other side, you'll see some of the things you had to do when you switched from gas over to run on kerosene. But
I think kerosene's more expensive than gas now.
It's strictly a gas tractor now, and has been for a number of years, even before I bought it.
I love these. They're on almost all the cars of the day. They were effective. They work well. So just pull up on it.
Yep.
And then it just falls aside. Okay.
You got her.
Right.
I just want to mention, I said I spent 2 years doing this. Why wouldn't I done a better job there? Those were both a mess on both sides.
And that's
you can
original?
buy new ones.
Yeah.
You can actually buy these replacement for a 1935 tractor.
Wow.
But I wanted original.
This is the one that
came on it, and I'm very lucky because a lot of these tractors that had this type of thing, they get thrown away about 3 years after, because the farmer just wasn't going full with that.
Yeah, who needs that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there we have it.
So she's but a few years ago when I restored it, that was nice and shiny.
Well, it gets warm and it gets rusty.
Carburetor, really, really different. It doesn't look like anything that's on a tractor now.
Well, it's a downdraft, isn't it?
Yeah. Inside, I rebuilt the carburetor, but inside the float is made out of cork.
Really?
It's not metal. Every carburetor you look in, car, truck, whatever.
Yeah, it's a sealed.
It's a piece of metal.
Yeah.
Float. But and I put a new cork float back in it because I kept it original. The belt, of course, before V belts. It's a flat belt.
Oh, it's a wide belt too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's run gas for so long, but you used to have to take this, and I'm sure there was different, and you turn that upside down. It's even marked. One side is gasoline, one side's kerosene. You turn that over, you go down here, and it's marked too. You turn that, because it takes more heat to burn kerosene. So you change those two things, and there's a baffle inside there. It was giving more heat to the gasoline or to the kerosene.
So that it would vaporize.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about McCormick Deering, and a lot of people assume that has something to do with John Deere.
Right.
But and especially because this is a green tractor, which is. But there was two big companies, McCormick, and it was a McCormick family, and it was the Deering family. Fierce competitors back in the 1900s for the there weren't tractors, but farm machinery business. And they finally, after fighting it out for a long time, decided after a few failed attempts that they would become partners. Anyway, so they formed those two companies together, and at the same time they bought a number of other companies, so they were a full, whatever was available for farm machinery, they now had it to sell. And that's where the International Harvester name came from.
People might see it's still around.
Yep. And unfortunately not in tractors, but there's I guess sort of international trucks, but I think that's
the Scouts were out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same company.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Now, these tires were not the tires that were on it originally.
This tractor was sold new with steel wheels, and which was common back then. But the farmer that owned it, there was a lot of controversy about it, whether these rubber tires were any good for a farm tractor, but he bit the bullet and he found these rubber tires in the rims in North Dakota in 1955. had them shipped to Middleton, Nova Scotia by.
So they came by train and probably.
No,
like-
I even have the postcard from the transport company that was responsible for delivering them, and make sure that he'd received them from there to here.
Awesome.
But the interesting thing was, farmers still weren't convinced this rubber thing was going to work because they had these steel wheels with the big cleats.
Yeah.
When he ordered these, he also ordered from the same place replacement cleats for the steel wheels. Still not convinced that the rubber was going to do the job. I have the steel wheels. I also have the cleats that he ordered and never used, still tied together with wire the way they were shipped.
It worked.
Trying to keep the thing original and keeping everything I could. The toolbox was completely rotted on the bottom. I have a friend fabricated it for me, but that is the original cover and the original hinge. But what really I like, it has the original old-fashioned, a little rust on it now, but the padlock, I don't have a key for it, but it was there when I got the tractor, and it's staying there.
Looks like something Harry Houdini would have had on his arms.
Yeah.
Were there original tools still with it?
No.
So you'd be carrying with you everything you needed to do what? Just
Oh yeah, they would
fix, replace,
they would.
repair. Yeah.
When you were running a tractor in 1935, I think you'd have lots of tools with you to keep, especially if you're going away to the woods somewhere. You and wanted to get home for supper. You'd like be a good idea to take some tools.
So it's the same principle?
Clutch is on the wrong side, remember?
Oh, right, the clutch is on the wrong side, right. So the clutch is right here.
Yeah. And when you press the clutch, same as everything else about it. It's a little lazy reacting.
Okay.
Like I pressed the clutch back there and stopped here.
Gotcha.
Might have to keep her around until she pretty near stalls to get her in gear.
Okay.
Then you're good to go.
All right.
Give her a shot anyway.
Give her a shot.
I saw you on the other show. You know how to ride this old stuff.
I don't know about that. I've had a lot of time with it. All right. So you were in third gear?
I was at the end, yeah.
Yeah. So
You likely want to start in second. You might stall in third.
then,
That's it. Don't need to touch the spark.
okay. And that's. All right. You got wish me luck. There it is. Another piece of history is around the corner was the original plow for this.
Yeah, the plow was part of the package.
Yeah.
And
What color was it when you got it?
it was green.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be.
Why? Why is it? What was the factory color?
They were gray for 1935, and the next year, International, which is
The
owner of
company
McCormick Deering, changed their color to all their tractors to red. Somewhere, and that was my question when I bought it, why'd your father paint that tractor green? And he said he didn't, it was always green. So I started doing some research and ended up, I belonged to the International Harvester Collectors Club out of the States. And, they had an expert in Kansas on these tractors. So I called him and discussed it with him, and he said, and I'd done a little research online. Some of them, nobody knows why, but some of them got painted green. And whether they were playing with, were they going to go to a green tractor or a red tractor? So I said, well, people are going to think I did wrong painting this green. And he said, well, from what you're telling me, that tractor's been working its whole life for 80-some years green. Do you think you've got the, authority to change that? And I said, well, people are going to ask questions. He said, tell them to call me.
Right.
Yeah,
So maybe they ran out of red paint that day.
well,
It's hard to
it's
say.
green. It was green, and I restored it. I was able to purchase it with the deal that I would restore it. And the son only wanted his father mentioned in anything.
This tractor was a working machine, and it helped the family survive.
It was a
livelihood.
tractor. I have several tractors, and I've restored quite a few, but this, just the history I've got on this compared to the other ones, the tractor means a lot to me. This all started because I wanted a tractor like the first tractor I remembered from our next door neighbor back in 1960, like.
Right.
And it took me 10 years to find the tractor I wanted, and in the meantime, I bought this one and that one and this one, and
Hard to have a collection unless
I
you...
got a collection when I didn't have, I had no desire or I never thought I'd have a tractor collection, but I wanted one tractor.
Right.
But they
you
kept following me home.
That's a good way to put it.
You're right. It takes a long time to slow down. Well. Whew. Well, that was fun. That was a blast. Yeah, it rides nice. That nice bouncy seat.
Yeah, it's latest in the suspension.
Well, fantastic. Thank you for sharing your passion with me.
Now I will tell you,
Uh-oh.
you were the first one to ever drive that tractor since I built it.
Really?
Yes.
I feel honored and blessed because
And I
it is...
feel honored that you came to
Is it-
drive my tractor.
It is a fantastic machine, and
Yeah.
it's hard to believe that it was, as you said, working day in, day out for years and years and years
It's the first time I ever saw my tractor moving,
without being
except
on
from the
it.
seat. Yeah, I just realized that when you started. I never seen that tractor go before. Oh, excellent, thank you.
No, this was a real honor for us, so thank you for sharing your machine and your passion.
Yeah.
So what happens with it now? Where's its future? What do you think will be the future for this tractor? McCormick Deering.
I'll never sell it.
No.
No, I don't sell. I really suck at selling. I got the buying part. I can buy tractors. I'm good at buying tractors, but I really suck at selling them. Never sold one.
Well,
No, it'll go back in there, and we have a summer show and the long weekend in August,
yeah.
and in the front field there, and they'll be out there and with a lot of our other members, and
People
they'll
stop
have
by.
their engines. We'll run some machinery and.
Right.
And maybe even play some. We play some tractor games.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, you drag a chain and you have to put it into a box, wooden box, and you keep going back and forth until the whole chain's in the box. And of course, it's timed.
Right.
You got another one where we have different sized buckets, and you have to drive along, see how fast you can drop the washers in the bucket.
That sounds like fun
Anyway,
too.
yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
And then we have our 2 weekends exhibition in September, and we'll have this area full of machinery and things running. And
Longest continuously running exhibition in North America, and you'll be here and people can ask you all about your McCormick Deering, and no, it's not John Deere Green.
we look forward to seeing you at Hants County Exhibition.
Thank you very much, Brad.
If there's not drag racing.
If there's not, yeah, exactly. Thank you for this. It's a treat.